which is better. Okay, so I'm going straight parallel lines across, but I'm not cutting fully through. And then I go straight up and down. Okay, and I make really small lines once again. The smaller the lines, the better it is. Okay, so I shouldn't be seeing lots of just cutting it 3-4 times. Like I cut this around 10 times already from one side to the other. And I go all the way from one end to the other, and I don't cut fully through. So now I have like an accordion, like almost like a flower. Okay? Once you have that, you're going to take the big knife, and you're going to go and point, and you follow through from the part that's cut all the way to the end, and it should be a dice. Alright? And how do you make a dice? Just remember that it's even on all sides. Okay? So if you have a certain length going this way, and then you have to have a certain length going this way. And then when you cut this way, same thing. Okay? So once you get to the point where you can't cut anymore, you don't want to waste your shallots. I'm going to keep it, and we put it into our chicken stock. Okay? So that will be for our chicken stock. Here. So I have my shallots ready to go. We're going to go and cut it into a haché. So you want only leaves. The stems you're going to keep for our stock again. So I'll be collecting that on that day. And you're just going to go and cut through, okay? And try not to bruise so don't squish it because you're going to bruise it. But you just naturally cut and let the knife do the work and just cut through. Okay? While this happens, you notice I'm trying to boil my, I'm boiling this up, right? There's a reason for it. Because I'm going to go and make my seeded and diced tomato, my concasse. So I got my parsley ready to go. Okay. And it's just going to brighten things up, give it a fresh taste to it. Same thing, notice how I'm actually doing my board is actually not too good too. But notice that my board is always clean. I always like wipe it after I continue on. Okay, so I have all that. And now I'm going to go and see that the water is boiling. I have some ice water. And this is how you're going to go and make your concasse. Usually I use Roma tomatoes, but they're really, really bad this time. So that's why you just have to change. You always pick the best one, right? So I just picked like hothouse tomato. Once it's boiled, I want to go and add salt. Okay? This is also my pasta water, so I want to make it salty like a sea. Quite a lot. Okay? So I'm going to make an X on the bottom. And I'm not cutting right in, I'm just making a little mark on the bottom. This is going to help it so it peels. And it goes completely. And I have some ice water. Should be more separated. So we'll have to leave it as is. And I'm not cooking my tomato. I just want to make it so that the skin will come off. This actually works very well with like any type of stone fruit, like peaches. If you want to poach peaches and you want to take the skin off, this is how I do it. Nectarines, plums, I do the same thing. Okay. So once I got this, I want to go and take a look that I can actually take my finger at the X, and I'm going to easily peel from one end to the other. Okay? Do you see that it's naturally easy to peel? If I'm able to peel it, I'm going to go and dump it right into my water, and I'm going to completely cool it down. If it's not completely submerged, I need to add more water until it's completely submerged. What I'm doing is I'm shocking the tomato. Now while I'm doing that, my partner, I see that there's water boiling. Here's the do's and don'ts for pasta. Okay? So write down a column for do's and don'ts. Do nots when you're doing pasta. Do not add pasta to, do not add pasta if the water's not boiling. That's number one. Okay? When you're cooking pasta, you want lots of water, so that's a do. Lots of water, lots of salt. Now, I'm not saying to dump the whole like bunch of salt, but you want it to, when you taste the water, it should be a little salty. Okay? 2, do not add oil to the pasta water. Do not add oil to the pasta water. You don't need it. Okay? Do stir the pasta often. Okay? Do not rinse the pasta in cold water after. Do not rinse. You do not rinse pasta under cold water. That's a big no. Okay? That's not what Italians do. And that's, you're rinsing out the starch and you're rinsing out the sauce. Okay? You do, once your pasta's cooked, cool it on a tray with a little bit of oil. You do. So the things I'm doing, you do, and then there's things you don't. Right? You don't rinse under cold water. You do not go and add oil. Okay, there's no need for that. So as long as the water's like fully boiling, I'm just gonna go and add it all in. Okay, and I'm just gonna go and give it a good stir right away. And I'm gonna try to do my best to bring it back to a boil right away. The agitation of the water on the pasta is just going to help it so it doesn't clump. So you don't need oil. You're wasting your oil. The oil does nothing. It doesn't help it at all. So why are you wasting your oil? It's just naturally you stirring. Like, so once you put in pasta, make sure it's all in. So if it's spaghetti, same thing. And you just stir it and just agitate it so that it separates. Once it boils, it will not clump together. Okay? So I have that ready to go. Ooh, this is why I don't like wearing this thing. Okay, so while this happens, I'm gonna go and we get all my stuff ready to go. I have a tray. Okay? My tray is all ready. And I'm gonna go and have it ready to go for putting all my stuff out. I have my colander, or you can have your sifter, which is over there, you can use. I'm gonna have it ready to go in the sink. Okay, so it's all ready to go. I am now going to go and take my tomato because it's super cold now, and I'm gonna go show you how to de-skin and de-seed and de-skin. All right. Okay, I'm gonna put all this stuff away. Notice that I'm always stacking. Okay, that's another trick of making sure you're organized. Okay, and I'm gonna go and take my small knife, and I'm gonna peel the skin of my tomato. Really easy to peel off if you actually line it with the X. Okay, so easy and it's smooth. And I'm not taking chunks of the meat off because if you do take chunks of the meat off, that just means that you have overcooked your tomato, and you don't want that. You just want it to be able to peel this. And if you are doing peaches in the summer, nectarines, plums, it will do exactly the same thing. Okay. So I got mine ready to go. I don't need this, so I'm putting it into my waste bin. And then the second thing you're going to do is take it into quarters. Okay. All right. And you're now going to de-seed it. So you're going to go and take your knife and you're just wiggling it back and forth until you can get off this part. Okay? Do not waste this part. This part is actually very good for either stock, or you can put it into your next dish, which is your tomato sauce. Okay? So we're going to be saving a lot of things. A lot of things you don't have to waste. Just peels and stuff like that. But other than that, you can use it all. Again. So these are called, what we call in the restaurant is tomato petals. Okay? Once you have that, now it's de-seeded. Now we're going to dice. So it's really easy to dice. I'm just going to go and take it and flip it over. Okay? And notice what I'm doing. I'm actually lining it up. And you might think I'm kind of going nuts, but I'm going to make this vertical, I'm going to make parallel lines. Okay? Right? And we're going to try to make it small, so make smaller dice. Okay, and same thing, you're gonna try to make it so that it's a square. So square is even on all sides. All right, so just visualize, if it's this thick this way, you have to have it this thick this way. Does that make sense? This thick this way, same thing, this thick, right? So that you can make it into a dice. Dice is a square, right? Or cube. So now that I have this all ready to go, I can use my big knife and I just point and I follow through. And I don't have to worry about lining it up because I already did. So it's a lot faster and more efficient. Okay. So now I have a diced tomato and you can see it is actually a dice. So now that I have that ready to go, put it in here and I have my relish all ready to get started. And transparent now, I'm going to go and add my tomatoes. Instantly when I added my tomatoes, can someone give me the brown sugar please? That's something I forgot to add. And I'm going to add equal parts, okay? So I'm going to add like a little bit of my brown sugar first. And I'm going to go and add now my sherry vinegar. So equal parts. So if you taste this, it has to be equal parts of sweet and sour. So it shouldn't be more sweet than sour, it shouldn't be more sour than sweet. A little bit of salt, sherry vinegar, okay? So, and I'm gonna stir it up, and it should look a little jammy, okay? So I'm gonna, now that it's stirred up, I'm gonna let it cool down. So there's a couple things. If you want, you can add some garlic, once again, that's grated. So I kind of grate my garlic in there. Okay. Now that you guys got that going, I'm going to taste everything now. Okay. I have a little bit of parsley left. I'm going to go and add at the end. So stack up, make sure that everything is ready to wash, so that you don't have to waste time. Okay, see I'm doing this and I'm cleaning as I go. Now that it's done, I'm going to go and crack my lovely, egg white, egg yolk. Okay, and it looks like it's still a little thick, so I'm going to go and add a little bit of milk. I mold it on a spoon. Okay, thank you. Once that's ready to go, I'm going to go and add a little bit more milk because it's still a little thick.